Phoebe's like, fuck you in particular. I'm like, you're welcome, goodbye. Hello, and welcome to the Afterspark podcast, an episode-by-episode recap of the Generation 1 Transformers cartoon. I'm Els.
And I'm Specs.
And today we're going to be talking about episode number 51, The Girl Who Loved Powerglide. Let's talk about giant robots and love, shall we?
Ah, those romantic entanglements. Yes.
If we can call them that in this case.
Well, awkward entanglements. Let's go with that.
So, today, on the Transformers, we open atop a skyscraper where, by all accounts, it appears that a children's birthday party is happening.
To the consternation of two elderly men in, frankly, rather silly party hats.
And business suits. Party hats and business suits.
Lo and behold, the party is the work of their chairman of the board.
Or should we say, chairwoman?
Said chairwoman is a young woman named Astoria, who is in fact an adult. She addresses the crowd of people at her party, starting out with, "I know you're all grossed out to be here, but why aren't you having any fun?" She really picked the wrong crowd for this.
Yep, and then she goes about a mile a minute, talking very quickly and going through the gamut of emotions, ranging from being angry that her guests aren't having any fun, to it's her party and she's going to do what she wants.
They were voluntold that they were going to be her guests today. She also literally says, "It's my party and I can cry if I want to."
And you get the impression she's going to, loudly.
Yep.
But, right after this, the three Coneheads attack her party immediately. And she displays the startling talent of screaming with her mouth closed.
I think we might have been getting some mental screaming. Powerglide spots this attack and reports back to Optimus Prime that the cons are attacking hybrid technologies.
Powerglide begins to ask himself what the Decepticons are after and is startled when he sees them kidnapping a girl instead of something useful, like a bunch of scientists.
He says, "It's Hera time!" and dives in to help.
Oh, Powerglide, buddy, you've done this to yourself.
He's opened this can of worms, and now he's gonna have to lie in it.
Powerglide saves Astoria by flying over with a rope hanging down for her to grab onto, which she does.
And Astoria has some surprisingly good arm strength here in order to hang on to this rope during the turbulence that she's experiencing while Powerglide is flying around, and she somehow manages not to bang into anything.
Yup. The bigger thing here is, though, that the Conehead's master plan has been foiled by rope.
Rope and a can-do attitude.
She is pulled into Powerglide's cockpit and freaks out a bit when she sees that there is no freaking pilot, exclaiming that they're gonna crash.
Powerglide yells at her for pressing his buttons, frankly the wrong buttons. And the Coneheads compliment his acrobatics as he's taking a nosedive from Astoria's panicked attempts at piloting.
And she is confused by the voice that is coming from no one, asking who and where he is, but Powerglide's a little bit occupied right now and doesn't offer the most compelling answer.
Or really,
any
compelling answer. The Coneheads lose sight of the two as they take refuge under an overpass.
Powerglide finally transforming into robot mode and introducing himself to Astoria.
Astoria is now a huge fan of Powerglide and wants to go flying again. Jumping extremely high into the air to grab onto Powerglide's arm.
He then promptly spikes her into the ground, not that she's fazed by this at all.
I have my pet theories. We have talked about this. Powerglide asks who the heck she is.
Her full name is Astoria Carlton Ritz, so you know she's rich.
Mm-hmm. She's, the Richie Rich of the Transformers universe. But a girl. She's also, as previously mentioned, chair of the board for hybrid technologies, after inheriting the company upon her father's death.
She immediately says that she wants to go flying again, of course, and Powerglide responds with, "I'll send you flying," as he grabs her hand to lead her away. Why are the Autobots, or specifically Powerglide, advocating violence?
I think he's still a bit peeved over the buttons.
She touched him in ways he did not ask for, okay?
Yeah. Later, Powerglide and Optimus are talking, and we're told that Astoria is apparently not allowed any access to a lot of hybrids labs or equipment, and therefore Powerglide questions why the cons wanted her at all.
Optimus seems to think that they were going to use her as a hostage, which is seriously a fairly solid theory considering the information they're going off of right now.
Yeah, since I guess Astoria hasn't volunteered any information at this point.
Yeah, and it's not like the Coneheads were trying to get something specific from her, they were just trying to kidnap her.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Astoria is waiting in Sparkplug's New York workshop, which is, I guess, the outer area of the building that they're in.
Or something. It's not really clearly explained or shown, really.
Yeah, while Spike is repairing a vehicle.
Spike says it's a pity he wasn't there earlier because he's always ready to rescue a girl as pretty as Astoria.
Oh, Spike. He looks so smarmy while saying this.
I'm just like, you have a girlfriend already, Nimrod! Spike, Carly, literally, like, what, the first episode she's in fucking bombed the Decepticon base. Do you really want to find out what she'd do to you for infidelity? Hell, I'd say Ironhide's got a good chance of helping her.
Yep. Also, Spike is at most like 17 here, and we're pretty sure Astoria is an adult.
So this is awkward for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Spike's up.
Uh-huh. Not that Astoria is paying much attention at all to Spike. Because, you know what? She's more interested in Powerglide.
Spike is seemingly less of a Powerglide fan than Astoria because she just starts spouting off some of Powerglide's virtues.
Such as, he's tall, he can fly, and he's shiny.
Because as we all know, women are magpies.
Yeah. Women love a good shiny thing.
But when the man's shiny, that's just a bonus.
Yeah. Spike gets pouty about this and returns to working on the vehicle that he's been, you know, doing stuff to.
Then everything possible goes wrong on this vehicle while he's working on it, resulting in a fire.
This is our first hint that there might be something a bit off. Or, well, maybe the second hint that something might be a bit off about Astoria. He pushes her out of the way, and then she backs into a frame holding an engine, which looks pretty heavy. And the thing falls over.
Powerglide then enters the room and comments that her bad luck with tech must be why her company doesn't let her near anything.
They have a very low sample size to come to this conclusion.
A sample size of what, 2?
Yeah. Astoria sounds rather sad when she responds with, "Yeah, I guess machines and I don't get along so well." Powerglide says he can attest to that.
God, he is such a freaking prick in this episode. Like, Astoria's actually a really interesting character. Like, we don't have somebody like this already. And I think she deserves to be treated better in this.
Yeah. Like, what little backstory we get of her, like, she's got reasons for being how she is.
Yeah.
And she could, having the opportunity for some character growth would just be nice.
Yeah, it would be good to see. I would enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. So Powerglide has been tasked with bringing Astoria back to the Ark for her safety, but Astoria wants to eat first.
And at the Decepticon base, the Coneheads are getting chewed out by Megatron for their failure.
We're informed that the Coneheads are apparently the most powerful jets in the galaxy, and Megatron asks how they were beaten by a single Autobot plane.
Don't say that near shot of Starscream, Megatron, you'll make him jealous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. At some sort of amusement park or something, Astoria is getting some food when she wants to ride the nearby merry-go-round.
Powerglide keeps telling her that they need to go, but Astoria wants to go do more things.
Honestly, this is probably like one of the few times she's actually been out and about with anyone where she can get them to do something.
Well, yeah, like, it depends on how sheltered she was, which we don't know.
Yeah, but she just, considering that she made a bunch of old people who worked at her company go to her birthday party, that's not exactly indicative of having,
like, a lot of friends or something.
Yeah, or a social life. Honestly, on reflection, her life seems kind of sad.
Yeah, I think there's a reason she, like, latches onto Powerglide, honestly.
Yeah. God, she could bully him into doing so much stuff with her.
She's got money to do whatever the fuck she wants, presumably, too.
Yeah. But, like, at this point, she's not paying for him to be hanging around her.
Yeah.
Exasperated, Powerglide tries to grab her shoulders, but Astoria freaks out and tells him not to touch her necklace.
Do not touch mirror.
Not touchy.
No touching.
1, do not touch me. 2, never touch me again.
She does apologize for freaking out, explaining that her father gave her the necklace before he died.
We are getting our heartstrings tugged just a bit.
Well, as much as what G1 Transformers is capable of doing.
Yeah. I mean, if this was written by if this was written now by someone better, you know this would be a heart.
Oh yeah,
tearing
yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Powerglide even apologizes, and then they go to leave.
Only to be accosted by the Coneheads.
Powerglide tells Astoria to run, while he begins fighting the 3 cons. I feel like Optimus should have ordered more of a guard than just Powerglide.
I don't know if his idea was, oh, Powerglide can fly straight there, so therefore it is the quickest method, and the aerial bots were doing something else.
I'm not sure if the aerial bots have been built yet.
Oh god, you're right. This is what I get for us watching ahead. But I'm like, the aerial bots exist. No, they don't. So basically what happened is Optimus is like, I have 2 people in a paperclip in New York. You're the fastest one. You can fly. Here you go.
Pretty much. That sounds about right.
Sorry. Let me rephrase that. I have 2 Autobots and Spike here. So you're gonna have to do it by yourself, Powerglide.
And unfortunately, they got sidetracked by the fair. Ramjet picks up a whole ass... Well, I'm assuming it's the merry-go-round that they were just
Yes,
on.
literally.
And then chucks it at Powerglide.
But Powerglide manages to douse them in cola and drop it like a circus tent kind of thing on them.
It's a very novel approach. I mean, perhaps they'll just get so sticky they can't transform?
Really? Because all I can think is douse yourself and repent.
Oh god. Please don't kill me with laughter.
Powerglide, channeling Sailor Mercury several years before Sailor Mercury existed.
Powerglide transforms, and the 2 take to the air, but are unfortunately pursued by the cons. They clip one of Powerglide's wings, forcing him to land.
Kudos to Powerglide. He does actually manage to land, even with his wing clipped, instead of crashing.
Well, he is a master of the air, so...
Well, he has to be something. The only something the Autobots have in the air right now.
Well, especially... Well...
Unless you count Wheeljack in a jetpack. And Swoop.
Sideswipe.
or the boys in jetpacks or Swoop. Admittedly, Swoop with her all day would be very funny.
Oh god, they would just... Oh god, just imagine her with the Dinobots.
She'd be like, we're going to a fair! And be like, me, Grimlock, love fair! What's a fair?
Either that or she'd come up, like Tarzan and Jane, except she's Jane and they're on Dinobot Island.
That would also be funny. I would enjoy this.
That would be funny. So basically, our options are, as you said,
Powerglide, Wheeljack, Sideswipe, or Sunstreaker in a jetpack, or Swoop.
Or possibly Skyfire if he's not out on, sabbatical. Or
Yeah, we don't know
Omega,
where Skyfire is.
Or Omega Supreme.
You're just gonna get in the nice big man and you're gonna fly to Oregon. It'll be fine. I'm assuming Omega Supreme probably is stationed in Oregon. It's not like they would have a ton of room in the middle of New York City to put him somewhere.
Yeah.
Same with Skyfire.
Yeah. Just imagining her with Omega Supreme.
Omega Supreme would be so confused.
You'd also
I'd be like, what do I do with this? This thing is just talking to me incessantly, and this he's not one for conversation,
And it's also tiny.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Let's get back to business. Once Powerglide's back in robot mode, Astoria notices that he is hurt.
So she rips part of her party dress and bandages Powerglide's wounded arm, all the while telling him off for being Mr. Motto.
She's a little bit confused, but she definitely has the spirit.
You have no idea how much I wish that there'd been a scene later of Ratchet commending her for keeping dirt particles out of Powerglide's wounds or something.
Yeah, I imagine Ratchet is super pissed about having to clean dirt and sand
Out of
grit.
everybody's crevices.
Yeah, just, God, there must be so many rocks, so many pebbles.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine why any of the Transformers would want to be on a planet.
I mean, yeah, it must feel pretty gross compared to Cybertron, which was mostly metal.
Yeah. Just as Powerglide is about to admit that she's not so bad, the Coneheads catch up.
Laser fire ensues. Powerglide's knocked down a ravine and has some rocks dropped on top of him.
Oh no!
The giant robot had a few rocks dropped on him. Oh no!
The Coneheads grab Astoria and make an escape, dumping her into Dirge's cockpit.
Powerglide tries to follow on foot, but doesn't make it very far before Wheeljack and Ratchet show up and get him into Ratchet's ambulance mode. Which means, how far did they make it towards Oregon?
I guess they're
Pretty far?
Maybe they're in Oregon now?
or Idaho or something? I don't know.
I mean, they weren't exactly landed for very long. How fast did Ratchet leave to meet them? Did they send an emergency beacon when
they got attacked? Who
Yes.
freaking knows?
There are so many questions. Oh god, maybe Wheeljack carried Ratchet with
Well, he took
The
Wheeljack
rocket
with the jetpack and was going to meet them.
Yeah, maybe. Back at the Ark, Powerglide's whining about Ratchet needing to go faster.
Poor Ratchet, he's so unappreciated.
He is. I wish we got more of him, but now he's just the background guy who occasionally gets painted as Ironhide.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not really gonna get better before the end of season 2. We know this.
Yeah. Powerglide finally has enough after his wing is fixed and leaves, heading to the Teletran room.
Teletran 1 informs Powerglide and Optimus that a Sky Spy has detected a suborbital station.
This is the first we've heard about this today.
Well, that's because the cons have hardly been in here, really.
That's true. Powerglide runs out and takes off intending to rescue Astoria himself, without, getting any feedback from anyone else.
Nope. At the suborbital station, the Constructicons inform Megatron that the energy transductor is complete.
Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all, does it?
No, I'm sure it doesn't have tentacles.
God!
I think it actually doesn't today, but it's so common with Megatron's devices that, yeah, it could, for all I know.
Well, I'm pretty
Surprise tentacles.
I'm pretty sure there are at least electrodes.
Yeah.
A lot of electrodes. Megatron heads inside to get a top secret energy formula from Astoria.
Soundwave has presumably hit 99.9% done with Astoria, who we can only assume has been talking the entire time since she got here after she asked for a burger and he tells her silence.
Well, I don't think she got anything to eat before they had to scram from the fair, and I mean it's been
Probably a couple hours.
yeah, I mean considering how long, well, I don't know how fast Powerglide is, but what, it's 4 or 5 hours across the United States in a regular jet? It's probably been a while.
Yeah, but she's just been talking. Talking and talking and talking and talking, and I cannot think of a bot who would hate that more than Soundwave.
Yes, but she probably is also hungry.
Yes.
Astoria has weaponized that she doesn't know things and tells Megatron she doesn't even know what he's talking about when he interrogates her.
We're also fairly certain she was going to call Megatron an asshole, but he cuts her off before she could finish, sadly.
Remember, kids, this is a children's show.
Megatron orders the use of a psycho probe on Astoria.
Oh, that's not a scary name at all, is it?
No. Astoria is zapped by the psycho probe, and Soundwave informs Megatron her mind is completely empty.
Is that Soundwave's way of calling her vapid?
Definitely. Alternate take. He's desperately trying to get Megatron to get rid of this woman because he's tired of listening to her.
Yeah. Soundwave attempts to fix the machine, but on the next attempt, one of the little suction cup doohickeys connected to Astoria's forehead pops off.
This apparently continues to happen until Megatron orders Soundwave and Rumble to hold them on.
Megatron threatens Astoria with 90,000 volts to the brain if she doesn't tell him what he wants to know.
She's not threatened by this at all, and really the last 2 attempts have completely failed, so I can't imagine she's feeling super threatened right now, Megs.
Yep. Megatron gets pissed as Astoria continues to be a spoiled brat and flips the switch. Also, I'm not sure what the hell he'd get out of her after 90,000 volts to the brain.
I don't know. Unfortunately for Rumble and Soundwave, they get zapped instead, and Astoria just laughs.
Megatron then gets so mad that he shoots the machine. Oh, way to be counterproductive, Megatron. But maybe this is Astoria's magic working.
Maybe. Hook informs Megatron of an approaching Autobot, and the cons leave Astoria alone in the room.
She promptly escapes her restraints and heads outside.
Seeing Powerglide having difficulty moving through an electromagnetic storm, she spots an antenna that appears to be the source. Not seeing anything nearby she can throw at it, she throws her necklace, which, surprise, surprise, had the formula inside all along!
I think she apologizes to her father at some point during this.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the fact that the formula was inside it means she was lying through her teeth to Megatron the entire time.
The balls on this woman are impressive.
Mm-hmm. So, throwing the necklace works, the storm dissipates, and, well, it's not so much that the storm dissipates, it's more that everything starts to explode while the storm goes away. We got a different sort of storm here now.
Powerglide gets to Astoria, asking why she smashed the antenna and if she wanted to get herself killed.
She, of course, was just trying to save his sorry butt.
And then according to the animation, he pushes her away, and then it has to save her from falling off again.
But it's played as if she fell out of his arms or something, so they didn't do that well.
No. Regardless, he catches her and summons a parachute in his hand.
Yeah, it's really weird, and there's this animation error where she's, like, missing her torso.
Yeah, it was like a parachute tied to, like, a baton. Is basically the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. Though, I mean, this is still better than whichever episode had the guy being carried by his necktie.
Yeah, I was like, he should be dead.
Yeah.
She chucks the parachute and refuses to go without him, though.
She has some loyalty.
Yeah.
So they go into the station's control room, and Powerglide attempts repairs.
Realizing that Astoria is jinxing the controls, he chucks her out of the room.
Oh, he is not kind about this at all, but, I mean, now the controls start to work perfectly.
But Powerglide didn't want to stop the sky platform from falling. He just wanted to change where it was falling. So he and Astoria escape right after he picks a target.
And what a target it is. And the sky platform falls right on top of the Decepticon base.
Immediately after Rumble and Megatron were saying that at least they all made it out with no problems and that the platform and the girl were Powerglide's problems now.
Unfortunately, Megatron, you're very wrong.
So Megatron tells Soundwave to activate the force field, to which Soundwave responds, "What force field?"
The impact manages to damage part of the base, and Megatron has to order a cleanup.
Back with the Autobots, Powerglide asks Astoria if he can look her up the next time he's in town.
Sparkplug ribs him about being shot down by Cupid. Powerglide then throws a little fit and heads inside the garage for their New York base, and then he opens up his chest plates, revealing a little LED heart.
Making a poke sound effect for some reason.
Unfortunately, Astoria doesn't show up again, which is a pity because she is fun. There's such a lot you could do with her. Plus, imagine her taking out the Decepticon technology with her Jinx ability.
And I actually think her and Powerglide as a couple could be cute, too. But I wish he hadn't been such a dick or just tossing her around as much as he did in this. Please tell me you have Fic to fix this.
Maybe, but I mean, I still hold that I think she would be an interesting Terminator.
That, which leads us to Specs' theory about Astoria.
Yes. Basically, Astoria is the end result of a Terminator project, basically. So that's where her Jinx ability comes in.
And also why maybe those 90,000 volts did go through her and she just didn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Pick one.
And also why she can jump like nearly the entirety of
Powerglide's height? Yeah, that was weird.
And basically get man-held. handled by giant robots and not have, like,
Anything
a
wrong
broken
with her?
anything from getting, dragged around by an arm by a 10-foot tall robot.
Yeah. But join us next time for Triple Takeover, where Astrotrain and Blitzwing take over the Decepticons so they get to do whatever the hell they want, which isn't quite what you'd expect it to be.
There is way more football than one would expect.
There's way more a lot of things than anyone would expect.
The trains. Oh lord, the trains.
Alright, and I believe you do actually have some Astoria Powerglide fic for me.
Well, I have one, and then you have a fanfic recommendation, so let's get into that.
Not Astoria, though. She's in very few fic.
Yes. She is in very few fic, but another human-robot
Pair.
Yes. Okay, so the first fic here is Beautiful Hearts by The Awkward Enthusiast. It's in the G1 cartoon IDW G1 continuities. Rated T. It's a romance fic, so not Jen. Our pairings here are Astoria, Carlton Ritz, and Powerglide. Characters: Astoria, Carlton Ritz, Powerglide, Megatron, Dirge, Thrust, and Ramjet. In summary, Astoria Carlton Ritz was never a woman who thought too much about love. At least, not until Powerglide crash-landed into her life and rescued her from the clutches of yet another insane Decepticon plot. So begins the chronicling of events that lead up to the formation of their odd relationship, from unlikely allies to wayward romancers, and the fate that awaited them both once the Cybertronian War finally came to an end. And our character theme rec is, can I make it any more obvious? And it's a one-shot. And now let's go to Wells.
So the pick I picked for today is The Totally Normal Adventures of Joshua, not Marissa's boyfriend, man, screenwriter. It is by
Anefi?
Continuity is IDW. It is rated G. It is / and our pairing is Marissa Fairborn and Thundercracker. Our characters are Marissa Fairborn, Thundercracker, and of course, Buster.
The dog.
In summary, so Marissa said, why did you want to... She waved her hand to encompass the whole situation. Thundercracker shrugged, his arms full of puppy. She wouldn't be surprised if the entire reason he installed the mod was to make it easier to pet Buster and play fetch, which probably is rather accurate, really.
Yes.
I read online that to really understand someone, you should walk a mile in their shoes, but not literally, he said. They were clear about getting your own shoes. So I figured he lifted up a human-sized hollow boot and wiggled it in the air. And our character or theme record for this is, human-robot love. And it's a one-shot. And in case the summary maybe isn't the clearest, Thundercracker has done a mod to allow him to have a hollow form.
I like it.
It's really cute, though. It's short, and it's very cute.
It sounds fun.
Alright, so our artist for today's name is Terry. They are known as Alfheimer on Tumblr?
I think that's generally how I think about the pronunciation.
Okay. So Terry or Alfheimer. They have a lot of Dratchet. It's all Dratchet today.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of just general cute, cuddly pictures.
They're also very lovingly painted.
The first is, Drift and Ratchet dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ratchet being a shit and dropping Drift, because he is a shit. He is a shit.
Would you say it's ballroom or tango? Because that
no
leg
idea.
thing makes me think tango.
There's the cover for a zine they had done, which is very pretty. And then just one where Ratchet is picking Drift up. Since Ratchet being very, very sturdy and basically able to lift Drift whenever is kind of a fandom thing with the pairing, so.
Well, it makes sense for a medic to be built
does.
like a brick house.
Pretty much. He's a brick house! Yeah, check them out. Their stuff is cute, and I do believe they have a zine. I will also link to their zine, which appears to still be available after a cursory click-through.
But hey, yeah, it's a free PDF of a lovely zine that they worked on. Alright, and that just about wraps it up for us today. Remember to check us out on Tumblr or Pillowfort as Afterspark-podcast for any additional information, show notes, or links we may have mentioned. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at AftersparkPod, all one word, and various other locations by searching for Afterspark podcasts such as AO3, iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, just to name a few. And feel free to send us questions on Tumblr, YouTube, or AO3. Till next time, I'm Specs.
And I'm Alice.
Toodles!